Now let's take a look on client-side APIs. So ServiceNow provides 3 client-side JavaScript APIs. The first one is gForm. So this is an object whose properties are methods used to manage forms and its fields in the record. The second one is gUser. So this is an object whose properties contain session information about the currently logged in user and their roles. And there is also a third one, which is called gScratchpad. And this is an object passed to a client script from a server-side script known as display business rule. In addition to these predefined global variables, you also have any local variables you declare in a script. So these ServiceNow predefined client-side classes and methods are mainly used to control how the platform looks and behaves in a web browser, or just simply to enhance the end user experience. Now let's jump to ServiceNow PDI instance and let's examine the gForm, gUser, and gScratchpad client-side APIs in more details. See you there. Now let's play a little bit with some different methods with the gForm client-side API. So as you can see, we are back in a client script. I have already prepared a client script for you, and we will be managing the incident table, and the type here is on change. And so the script will be triggered every time category will be changed. So if you will see at the incident, particular one, so every time when I will change the category to different one, I will be able to trigger my code. So as you can see, the first function that I would like to show you is gForm showed field message. So this basically adds a message under a specified field. So in that case, I have added a message under the impact, which tells gForm is applied here. Let's comment it out. The second function could be gForm getValue. So we can basically get a value from the field. So let's take a value from impact field. So what it will do, it will take the value, but we need to also assign it to some variable or just console it out. So maybe let's assign it to the variable. So we call it var impact value equals to gForm getValue impact. And let's use our old known function. So let's make gForm add info message. So we will display the value of impact at the very top of the incident form. So I would like to display a value of impact. I will just add some info message so I can know that this is exactly it. So it will be the value of the impact. Let's just save it and let's see what happens. I will reload the form, and in order to trigger the code, I will just change the category. So as you can see, we have the value of impact is equal to 3, which is exactly the same as we have it here. Let's comment it out and let's try another function. By the way, if you would write gForm and then a dot, you will have access to all available functions with the brief explanations. So you can just search through a necessary function. I will not go through everything, but you can check it on your own or using the documentation. So the next function that is commonly used is in order to do the opposite that we done. So we will not be getting value, but now we will set a value. And by the way, you can see here that what are the arguments that are necessary. So it will need the field name, the value that you would like to change, and the display value. In that case, you can see only one argument is necessary because the very first argument field name is underlined. So other two are optional and the first one is mandatory. So let's set the value of field impact and let's set it to 1 maybe. Okay, let's save it and see what happens. Let's reload. Let's change the category. And yeah, as you can see, the impact was changed to 1 high. So let's just change it to, let's say 3 low, and let's see it once again. I will also change the category once again and watch closely the impact field. As you can see, impact is affected. Let's comment it out. The next function that is also commonly used could be gForm clear value. So we would like to clear a value of specific field. So let's maybe clear the value of short description. Let's save it. Let's go to the incident and reload the form. And as you can see here, the short description is already populated. It is unable to access the shared folder. if we would change the category, it should disappear. And yeah, we have our short description completely cleaned. Okay, keep in mind that there are many other functions that you can explore by your own, and the easiest way that you can do it is by typing gform and a dot later on, and just read through all the available functions. You can also check it out on the ServiceNow developer site, where you can just go to the reference and the client-side APIs. Now let's take a closer look at probably the most popular function within the gform, which is getValue. So just a quick overview about this method. So getValue is, as I said, very commonly used gform method. It simply retrieves a field value from the form. And keep in mind, this is from the form and not from the database. You need to pay a close attention to the field's data type when using this method. And that's why we would need to explore it a little bit more. So basically, it would be a difference if you would be getting value from the string field, reference field, or, for example, choice field. Now let's see this in action. So we are back in our gform playground client script. This is all the settings are the same. I have commented out the code that we were working on in the previous video. And now let's get a value from some text field. So since we are working on an incident table, let's get a value from number field, because the number, let me open the incident first. So you can basically open a table in the list view within a new tab by typing the table name, which in that case is incident, then a dot, and list from the capital letters. And since we are in an incident list view, let's just drill down into one specific incident, and let's check the type of the field, which is the number. So I just right click it, and we can just click show number. And it tells us that the field is a number, but the type is a string. So this is exactly what we would like to do. So now let's go back to our code, and let's get the value from number, from the incident. Let's assign it to the variable. So in that case, incident number, and let's display it at the very top of the form. So we would use our old known gform adds info message, and we would like to message this is incident number value, and let's display incident number. Let's save it. Keep in mind that our client script works on change of the category. So we would need to reload the form real quick and change the category in order to trigger the code. So as you can see, this is an incident number value, and this is exactly what we have here. Okay, so next thing that I would like to do with the getValue is to retrieve a value from a choice list. So in that case, a choice list is, for example, an impact field. Let's double check if it is true. So right click and show impact, and the type is integer in that case, but this is a choice list, right? So let's just copy the value, the name field, which is impact. Let's get value of impact, and let's change our info message a little bit. So this is impact value, and we would change also the variable name to impact value, just not to confuse you. Let's just save it real quick. Let's go back to our incident. Let's reload it. Let's trigger our code, and this is the impact value. Okay, I did a mistake because it is nothing here, because we have a typo here. So it should be impact, not impact, right? Let's save it and let's try once again. Let's reload the form and change the category. Okay, so now we have our impact value. As you can see, even though this is written 3-low, we only retrieved the real value here, because if we would click it and drill down into show choice list, yeah, let's do it. You can see that the impact low, which is labeled just 3-low, has a value of 3. So this is exactly what we retrieved, just a value, not the label. Okay, and let's go back to the incident. And the last thing that I would like to show you is how to get value from reference field. So reference field on this form is, for example, a color. So let's check what would be retrieved if we would like to get value from the reference field. So let's change it to color value, and here let's change it to color. Info message, this is the color value, and let's override our variable color. Yeah, it should be fine. Let's save it, and let's reload the form once again, change the category, and see what happens. Okay, so this is the color value. And this is again a mistake, because I didn't check what is the name of the field itself. I thought this is just a color, but it happens to be color-id. So it would be color-id. and it should be fine. Let's reload it and change the category. And yeah, this is what is expected here, because we have retrieved the value of the reference field, and this number is just a sysid. So you need to keep in mind that if you are working with reference field and you're using gform getValue, you would be returned with the sysid of a referenced record. So in that case, color ID is just a reference field. So you would need to play a little bit with it just to understand it better, but this is exactly what we are expecting. So getValue will return you a sysid. Okay, thanks. That will be it when it comes to the getValue method. And let's see you in the next video. Hello. Now let's explore our second client-side API, which is GUser. In other words, Glide User. So in Glide User, we would have possibility to access some user properties. For example, first name, last name, user ID, and the username. We can make a use of some useful GUser methods, such as getClientData, which will return the session client value previously set with the putClientData method. getFullName, which will return the logged in user first name and last name separated by a space. hasRole, it returns true if the logged in user has the specified role or has the admin role itself. hasRole exactly, it returns true only if the logged in user has the specified role. hasRole from list returns true if the logged in user has at least one role from the passed in list or has the admin role itself. And hasRoles returns true if the logged in user has any role. So it could be any role. Below you can see the syntax, how to use properties and methods. So in order to use a property, we would need to type just g_user, then a dot, and name of the property. So in the case of this example, guser.username. And when it comes to the methods, so it is as usual, we would need to type in we would need to type g_user dot name of the function. In that case, it's hasRole. And later it depends what arguments the role will accept. So in that case, in case of the hasRole method, it would be the name of the role. Okay, so now let's jump to our good old known client script and play a little bit with the Glide User. Okay, so here we are in the ServiceNow instance. Now let's just create a new client script. I will call it just GUser Playground. We will be operating on the incident table once again. We can just leave the type as a desktop because we'll be operating just on a desktop. So this is this kind of view and not the mobile app or service portal. And let's maybe tweak a little bit. So let's make it on load. So the code will be triggered every time incident form will be loaded. So let's just save it. Let's remove the comment here. And let's start with some properties. So in that case, I would like to set an alert. And I would like to display the currently logged in user. So I would just write logged in user. And additionally, I would like to have this value. So it will be guser dot. And as you can see, we have access to all the properties and the functions. So it really facilitates the usage of this API. So I would like to have my username, and that's it. So I should be able to see an alert when I would refresh the incident form. Let's save it. Let's go back to our incident form and reload it in order to trigger onload client script. And yeah, we have currently logged in user, which is admin, because that's exactly my username. This is admin, because I am logged in as a system administrator. Let's comment it out. Let's see maybe one more property. So maybe let's display the first name. So in that case, it should be system, because I am the system administrator. So system is my first name and administrator is my second name. So let's just display it. So it will be my first name is, and use the GUser API and set a first name. Let's save it, refresh the incident form, and my first name is system as expected. Exactly. Okay, so now you probably know how to use the properties. It's pretty simple. And maybe now let's use some methods. So I would try to use hasRole. So basically it will return true if I have the specific role. So we can use alert once again. It's a pretty convenient way to, display some stuff. If you would like to just see the outcome, it's pretty much easy. So let's alert logged in user role admin, and we will display true or false, whether I have admin or not. So I would just use guser has role, and I will type in admin. So I should be able to see true because I am sysadministrator, so I have the admin role. Let's save it, and as always, reload the form. And yeah, login user admin, this is true. Maybe let's use one more method. For example, I would like to display the full name of currently logged in user. So let's do alert. My full name is, and let's use guser.getFullName, for example. Let's save it. Let's reload this. And yeah, my full name is system administrator. So it's pretty convenient to use guser getFullName because you would need to write just a one line of code instead of using like two properties at the same time. Of course, you can do it in a one line of code, but it's like a shortened version of the same. Okay, and that was pretty much it when it comes to guser. You can of course explore it more deeply on your own. Just reach out the documentation. That's it, and let's see you in the next video.